Good night, Lopinot. Political leader, Mr. Gary Griffith, Mrs. Griffith, the National Transformation Alliance governance team, the villagers of Lopinot. I'm going to call 4 villages in this area, which is, and if, please, when I call it, let me hear a little noise. Surrey, is Surrey in the house? Nobody? Lopinot? La Pastora, and Ali. In this little community here, make up these 4 villages. Let's give a brief, let me introduce myself a bit. My name is Insaf Enightoola. I'm the coordinator East for the National Transformation Alliance. As Kevin said, I am an architect, a designer by profession, and recently I have been pursuing my degree in construction management. I have been coming to Lopinot since I remember myself, since I could have drive. I used to steal my mother's car and head up on the side because, as Nicole described this place to be, she said, a road made out of gold. And she's right. Lopinot is full of so much blessings. I used to come up here to bathe in the rivers up in Ali, in the back there. And I always say that Lopinot has one of the best rivers in Trinidad and Tobago. We all know that everybody run to Cora. I rather run to Lopinot. On Sunday, I came up here to drop off this podium. It was supposed to be a 10-minute drive to just drop and leave. And after I left, I dropped off the podium, I was welcomed by the villagers of Lopinot at the playground to the back there. And what I saw, you wouldn't believe, it really touched me because I wish that communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago could be more like Lopinot. The family-oriented, atmosphere that I met there, the parang that was playing under the tents, and I must mention the paranderos who was here. I have it named here, random people of Lopinot. And why? It is the friends of Lopinot that came together to perform here tonight. And I understand that during the summertime, it is still Christmas in Lopinot. Is that true? Is the parang still playing right through the year? I asked a few youths here today to do a little display. We have the arts on the ground, and I think that we may have 2 sold already, right? That's Vicula Jordan. Yes. We also have the dance was supposed to come, Miss Renee Ramsey. And we have in our midst, where is he? Mr. Jonathan Mora. Are you around? Can you stand, please? Mr. Jonathan Mora, for Mora Weather Forecast, right? He is known on Facebook for one of the best and accurate weather forecasts in Trinidad and Tobago. Give him a round of applause. Thank you. And the reason why I asked these young people, and I'm sure there's more, is to show the talent that Lopinot have in its midst, in this place here. But you know what? It is hidden. These talents is hidden from the rest of Trinidad and Tobago. When we was coming up when we were coming up from the main road there on Sunday, Simone was with me, and I said, I bet you can't count all the potholes and all the bad roads heading up inside here. And we tried, and we couldn't make a number. It was so much. And the thing about it is, for all the beauty that we have in Lopinot, that road should not be like that. You should have a paved, smooth, A-class road for villagers, for visitors to visit this community without having any issues whatsoever. One particular resident who I met last week on my visit, he told me it cost him $3,000 a month to send his children to school. And that does not include the tire change that he makes every 6 months. And he lives far up in the village there, so imagine what takes place. Transportation in this area, $10 a person. There's no public transportation in this area. Why is Lopinot being treated like this? I can guarantee you under the NTA that will never happen. Every single community deserves their own public transportation. Yesterday, I saw Kevin put something on his Facebook, and I had to go and double check it to make sure. It's alleged that the Prime Minister spent $36 million on a renovation for the PM residence in Tobago. You have all this money. We had a blogger that has been spent, they're being paid $30,000 a month. For what? And there are communities like this that are suffering. And I'm using the word suffering very strongly. Right? Look at those roads. We have children who, I remember going to school when Maxi was $2. And once you have a uniform, you pay $1. It was half price. I think everybody in the community of the Lopinot community pays the same price to and fro school. And we talk about the lack of jobs in this area. So if you don't have jobs, how can you send your children to school from here? And I understand that in this community, there's only a primary school and a kindergarten. Is that right? Is there anything beyond that? So you have to travel outside of this community every single day. And if you have 2 kids, that's $40 a day. Mrs. Griffith mentioned the historic complex. This part hurt me a lot. When I visited here the first time, and Mrs. Griffith, I'm not sure if you're aware because you spoke highly of the historic complex, but I would like to give you the sad news that the historic complex has been shut down. The historic shutdown, and not only it has been shut down, the villagers of Lopinot was restricted from entering that land that belongs to them. Dead serious. So, Kevin asked the same question today. And I would love to know the same question. I'd love to get the answer for that. So the villagers, again, who used to make the money through the historic complex. You know, the forestry was in charge of maintenance. There were some villagers who was working there. And I understand that those villagers was removed from that site and placed to Cleaver Woods and Cora to clean in that area. Am I right or am I wrong? So who is taking care of that complex today? Nobody. And are we going to sit here and we're just going to take that? How many years that historic complex has brought so many visitors to Lopinot, so many tourists to Lopinot? What is taking place here today? My brothers and sisters, this is not right. But I will tell you this today. When I visited here last week and I was given the news, Curtis, my photographer, and myself, we are both members of the National Trust. And I wrote the National Trust on Monday, and they replied to me, an investigation is going to be launched into that historic complex because they are saying that this is nonsense and nobody is to take that from the people of Lopinot. Ladies and gentlemen, I may remind you, I am your coordinator, and I'm here for you. I'm not like the others. And when I say the others, I mean the other colors. Right where we sit here today, so right in this area here, I got a full tour, I know I have 10 minutes, but forgive me, right? I know I got a full tour in this community. So we start with the community center. We went across to the historic complex, and we walk around, visit part of the river, show part of the river that is actually caving in, and we went into the back where the football field is, right? Now, I know Mr. Griffith is a very big fan of football, and I'm sure he would love to have a football match up here. But as we stand today, we cannot have a football match up here because $350,000 was spent on the upgrade of a football field that cannot be used today. It was never used once because if you take a walk on the football field, your foot is going down in holes. If rain falls, there are pools you could dive and swim in. Who did this? Who did this to the people of Lopinot? Where did that money go? Where was it spent? Was it spent at that football field? This is wrong. And I was looking around and I asked, so where do the children play after school? There's no play parks for the children. But you go through the communities in Barataria and Arangwes and all these other places, there are play parks where children play, and there are also those mini gyms that have been put there where people go after work, before work, and they exercise and they build communities from there. But thank God, this community, they have the parang and they have the cook. And I can tell you, the fish broth is just damn good. So, let's move on. So I talk about the historic complex. I spoke about the clever words that they will be sent there. And I wish that the media was here today. I really wish, because you know why? I was going to get to them anyway. I wish I could. I want to challenge the media. The media, they know, they know what they like to publish in papers, right? They have their agenda. But I will like them to investigate what is taking place in this community under the historic complex, and is shutting down and telling the villagers of this country, of this village, that they cannot go in there because they are trespassing in that compound there. No trespassing sign. But I can tell you that is yours, and you can go there if they want. I believe there's a little festival taking place next week. The Coco Paya. Am I right? How many years you all trying to get a stage for that? There we go again. So I understand there have been a few years. I did some research. So there have been a few years that a stage is trying to be built there. And now that the festival is approaching, there's a makeshift stage that is being built. And who got the job? Any villagers inside here got that job? Nobody inside here got anything from it. It all came from outside of Lopinot. Is that fair for the villagers of Lopinot? I will tell you one time. Give me the opportunity. The people in this village or any community have the first tender for any jobs within there. You build from a community out, not from out the community in. One of the issues that I think that can happen when you bring villagers from the outside in, right now, as I spoke to the president of the village council, I call him Mr. Punch, he told me that crime is not really much of an issue here, right? And which is a good thing. But when you bring people from the outside to the inside, you don't know who you're bringing into your community. That is a big issue. That is where crime starts. And this is the time to stop it, because at the end of the day, as Mr. Griffith said, you have the power to stop it. You have the power before anybody else. And the NTA is here to stand with you to get that done. Agriculture being the main source of income. Am I right or am I wrong? Outside of tourism. When we were taking the walk through the village, they point up on the mountains, they point on another part of the mountain there, and they show me where the youths have to go up there and they will plant. And what is surprising to me, planting can only be done between the months of June and December. Why? Because of the rain. What happens after that? How do you survive? Where are the programs? Where are the training to teach the villagers or teach the youths how planting can be done in dry season? There are things called hydroponic systems. There are things called irrigation systems, things that can be put in place for that. You all have springs here that water is flowing 365 days a year. But is anybody teaching you guys how to get this done and how we could build the infrastructure for that? Right? What is your MP doing for you? This is of great concern. When I walk up here, the DJ play a song there for me, right? Buju Bantan. There's a reason why I choose that song. And there's some words in that song. In these times I say, when mama spend her last to send you a class, never you ever play. It's a competitive world of low budget people, spending a dime while earning a nickel, with no regards to who it may tickle. My cup is full to the brim. I could go on and the full will never be told. Does that song anything like your village? You know what that means? You all are going to school. opportunities are not there, right? But your cost of living is higher than what the money that you're earning. That is not how it's supposed to be. And we go on to the interesting part. When I did some more research, well, my head started hurt. Your MP, Mr. Marvin Gonzalez, the MP, and the Minister of Public Utilities, right? But how often do you all get water in this community? How long? And how much hours for that once a week? So we took a drive to Ali there, and I saw the water treatment plant. I'm a designer by profession. I approach WASA very often, and I could tell you, Mr. Marvin Gonzalez did a job. God knows how he got it done, because I am trying to get approval for a pool right now for a client, and I cannot get it, right? But here I counted 5,000 gallons water tank to serve a community of 30,000 people. By the regulations of WASA, you need 1,500 gallons per day to serve a household. Work the maths. You don't have water in your community. And that is why you have water once a week, 2 hours for that day. Some get twice a week. And the thing about it, what is shameful is that your MP is the Minister of Public Utilities. That is a slap in the face for the community of Lopinot. That is another thing I would like the media to investigate. I want them to do some work. So what happens in dry seasons when there's no water running in the stream there, right? So the agriculture, plants not getting wet, right? They can't water their plants. When I take a walk up there, we went down to the river. I saw a reservoir being built in a river there that I was told that certain time of the dry season, you could walk on that piece of river as if it is a road. Is that true? So what happened? Did anybody consult with the community of Lopinot to find out what is the proper procedure to get done to build that water treatment plant? And they completely ignored you, right? Are we going to vote for these people come 2025? Do you want to go back to the polls and bring back these people in 2025? Well, sir, I will tell you something. I came up here for 1 day. And I could tell you that higher up from that reservoir had a spring that produces water 365 days a year, where they could have tap off and ensure that Lopinot have constant flow of water. But what can I say? We will deal with it in 2025. Don't worry. Don't worry, I'm giving you half an hour to talk after me. Wrong people though. Wrong people. I didn't do that. The NTA didn't do that. We are here to fix it. So I hear your frustration, don't worry. Another thing I would like to mention, I am almost finished, right? So I also, emergency shelters, there are none. What do you do in the case of emergency? These are things that need to be put in place. Schools, the maintenance of schools. And I understand that parents just have to do certain sense of maintenance, but how can you do so if you don't have jobs? So we need to get some jobs for the villagers in order for these schools to be maintained. My brothers and sisters, People of Lopinot. Another verse from that song before I leave. I am living while I'm living. To the Father I will pray. Only He who know we get through every day. With all the hike in the price, with an arm and a leg we have to pay, while our leaders play. I say who can afford to run will run, but who can't afford will have to stay. They will have to stay. Opportunities is a scarce commodity. My brothers and sisters, I cannot make a change today, but I can guarantee you, come 2025, give the NTA a chance. Believe, given the NTA a chance, we can make that transformation clearly. The people are fed up of the same color after color, election after election. I am here to tell you that the NTA is not the third force for the future, but we are the only force for the future of Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, believe, as Buju say, the cups are filled. Believe that one day your cup could be filled. And we are going to help you do that. The NTA is here, and together we shall transform this country into a better TNT. Thank you, Lopinot.